Diane, playing a podcast Black Lodge Trivia Night. 3 dads, inherently short attention spans. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life.
All right, I guess we'll start here. Welcome to the first episode, but first recording for Black Lodge Trivia Night.
Yeah.
I'm Matt.
And I am Art.
We are down a dad tonight, or soon to be dad rather. We're missing Patrick, who would normally be our co-host, but he had other plans.
Yeah, I think it's telling that the commitment is already wavering. It took almost no time at all. But what are we going to do?
Yeah, we've only been building this up for 2 months and planning 30,000 systems and games to run, but yeah.
Right. I've been doing the whole VC tour all over Silicon Valley. But, I did, I don't know if we've talked about, do we say this is the Black Lodge Trivia Night? Do we say any of that?
I think so, but just in case not, if I didn't, then welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night.
Yeah. So to that name, probably, the people who out there who know, Black Lodge is part of Twin Peaks. And I actually came up with a limp trivia question for you,
shit.
If you want.
Yeah, give it to me.
It's Twin Peaks related. And the question is, what film did David Lynch leave Twin Peaks to go shoot? He's a real absence in a lot of season 2, and there's a reason why.
Right?
Yeah.
Mulholland Drive?
Is that your final answer?
That's as good a guess as I have.
No, it's I probably should have remembered what it was. It's the one with Nicolas Cage and I looked it up before and then I forgot. Wild at Heart.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Have you seen a lot of his films or?
No, actually I haven't. Like, a lot of my fandom just sticks to, so we're an RPG podcast, but the common bond, although some of this bond was forced on Patrick, who hadn't actually watched Twin Peaks before we came up with this idea. Art and I share a common love of Twin Peaks.
Yes.
And, but my fandom started with Twin Peaks, not David Lynch. Now, since falling in love with Twin Peaks, I have tried to consume as much David Lynch as I have. I just haven't seen that one.
Okay. Yeah, check it out. It's very interesting, like everything he does. It's worth taking a look.
Oh,
I really like it. Yeah.
It would be too early to be Dune, which I thought is maybe where you were heading, since we're playing a space game tonight.
Yes.
So we have this plan where we'll have normal bullshitting episodes in place, and we'll just talk about RPGs and systems, but we also want to do some live plays, which was the common link with us before, with the wonderful folks over at Alcoholic Adventure Cabal. That's where we kind of got our teeth into each other first, playing RPGs. Oh, we decided to do a little YouTube action. So that's what this is, an actual play of, if you didn't notice yet, The Long Dark Space Between the Stars. This is a one-on-one RPG. Have you done much of this, Art?
Not without safe words. No. Yeah. No. I don't know if I've ever done like deliberate game design as a lone wolf. Can I call it that? Yeah. I don't think I've ever deliberately played something like that.
So I've done plenty with my wife.
Okay.
We're doing and setting up a Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, nice.
One-on-one kind of adventure thing going on. And then we have played D&D one-on-one. And then I've done a Hockey Goons game. And the great thing about one-on-one, and recently we just did like a session where there was only 2 players. You were GMing. Right. It's really intense. I mean, you're on for the whole thing. Like there's no break, which is
right. Did you and your wife, did it go well? Did you both like it?
Yeah, actually. And yes. And the other thing we did was Kids on Bikes.
Oh, nice.
We did that one-on-one, and she would much rather play, a million of these other board games. Well, probably not the war games, but those over here, any of those, any other night, but given the chance, given the chance, she'll play board games. But if I talk her into it, she does like the RPG.
Very nice. That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Something to share.
So this is a game by Reed Hinckley Barnes. There'll be a link down below for the itch if you want to check this out. But yeah, it's a sci-fi thriller for 2 players where I'll be playing the Void, the GM. Art will be playing the passenger.
All right.
And it's a pretty interesting concept. Every game starts with the same premise. You come out of a cryopod and something has gone wrong on your ship.
Okay.
Obviously, that's a problem, but the biggest problem is the longer you spend out of cryo, the less of you exists. So you're going to start forgetting things, the people you love, names, all those things as you drift through space. And not only that, but you'll be giving parts of the ship and your body as you try to tackle a couple different obstacles I throw at you.
All right. That sounds great.
Yeah, very rules light. We have a D6 pool that Art's primarily I'm the GM. I'm not going to be rolling anything. Art's rolling all the dice.
Nice. And yeah, and I was looking through the rules. Forged in the Dark, is the Blades in the Dark system, does it have like an open license that people can adapt?
It must be.
It must, right?
Right. So have you done any Forged in the Dark?
No, I got it up. You can't see, my shelves right here. I've got Blades in the Dark, and then is Scum and Villainy.
Yeah, that's a hack of it, right?
Yeah, I think those are the 2 I have. Yeah, I haven't played, but I have read. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I want to do. I think it all sounds great, but it's only like surface level stuff. The one I do want to play, since we're talking about it, is Brinkwood, which is a pretty cool concept. Vampires have taken over the world, and like each night you have a different power. Like you put on these different masks, so your character's like. Anyways, we're not playing Brinkwood. We're not playing Blades in the Dark. We're playing the long dark space between the stars.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna put on some mood music.
Love it.
Good.
Nice. Very nice.
Okay, any questions before we start?
No, I think I'm ready to just roll with it and see what happens.
All right, folks, let's kick off Black Lodge Trivia Night, and I'll do a little spiel, and then there's a whole little process we go through to kick off the game.
Cool.
You hear the hiss of your decompressing cryopod, and see in the low glow of the ship's auxiliary lights, the rest of your crew still in stasis. Your ship's still in hyperspace. You can feel the vibrations through the back of your skull. You shouldn't be awake yet, but there's something wrong. Whatever's gone wrong, you need to sort it out before you either die, lose your mind, or the ship itself is destroyed. So first, why don't you tell me the name of our passenger? Who are you?
I was gonna go with part of me wants to name it Patrick. And then that would be the end of the giving him shit.
I love it.
But yeah, maybe I'll do that. And then the rest I'll take very seriously. But there you go.
Sweet. Okay. Name of the ship and its purpose. So we're alternating questions. There's 2, 4, 6, 7 questions. You start with the passenger first, and then the void takes over. And so the name of the ship is I had this game name I used to use for a long time. The name of the ship is the Kajibwa.
Nice.
That font is...
No, it's perfect. No, there we go.
As far as purpose, I love a good like space trucking job.
Nice. Okay.
And I think to give it a little bit more setting is you're a space trucking crew, and I think this is like the first test flight of a new AI system. Or maybe not even test flight, but like you're early adopters of an AI system called Brother.
Okay.
But so...
Given that detail, does that mean somehow this crew or somehow connected to money, or are we sort of patrons, patronized by a corporation, and we just got handed this?
Yeah, maybe, or maybe, yeah. Well, you tell me. Or you could be a crew that like upgraded, and like you've been waiting for your own ship. I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe that's it. Maybe we, after really just a never-ending grind, we got it. We got the payday. You know, it's that payday that always eludes every crew in classic science fiction. We actually got it. And we all argued maybe about what to put it into, but eventually putting it back into the ship is what won out, and we chose this AI.
Nice. And so you probably went back into debt to trick out your ship for the next big payday. yeah,
maybe that. Yeah, we like we had sort of a gambling kind of catch up, you know, mentality. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. What's Patrick's role in the ship?
Patrick's role in the ship, he is the maybe he's like the cook. I want to make him something like not necessarily like perfectly suited to whatever might happen. I was thinking maybe he's a little fish out of water, which makes it tough. You know, when like John McClane, you know, is the guy who isn't noticed by the terrorists, you're like, oh, well, I mean, if, you know, the cop is perfectly suited to kick ass and take names, but if somebody else had, like, if the janitor had been picked up, it might have been more interesting. So I'm going to go with something like, and that's my hot take on Die Hard, why it's terrible. No, kidding. Yeah, so I'll make it like, he would be sort of a cook, but he would have some kind of like botany background because he's doing like hydroponic vegetable growth. He's doing stuff like that. He's managing a biological something on the ship to help keep some of the food going. So, but yeah.
Perfect. So cook 420 enthusiast.
Exactly. Oh, you typed it in already. Whoops.
No, you can change that back to what it is. I love it.
No, that's perfect. 420 enthusiast, yeah.
Botanist, yeah, sure. Other crew members, we gotta have. I'm gonna say there's probably about a dozen other crew members. Captain Ace naturally is a great throwback.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know if we need to name them all, and maybe we can lay out the names as if it comes up, like maybe as you lose a memory or something like that. But I'll give you a couple. Like we have Captain Ace, and there's Dr. Crasher to be legally distinct.
We are not getting sued tonight, boys. Come at us, Roddenberry.
That's right. So, and then if someone else comes up and you want to throw them on there, that's it.
Cool. Okay, let me get a pad just so I can write down. Let's see, we got Captain Ace. Because as you can see how I forgot my trivia answer 2 minutes after I looked it up. We got Crasher as Dr. Crasher.
That's got to be confusing when someone's crashing, like on the medical table.
Over, under, yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. So we'll start with those two names. Is there others that we should come up with now, or do you think that's good?
Well, you tell me, because the next question is for you, and it's what's your relationship to the crew and who's your favorite?
Who is my favorite? My favorite is the mechanic. We'll call her Ceci, short for like Cecilia. And she's a mechanic, and the reason why we're favorites is because we work together to operate a still on board the ship. So some of my biological material, some of her mechanical and maybe chemical know-how, and we sort of rigged up a little still.
Nice. Love it. Okay, who in the universe will miss you the most if you die? So this is a question for me.
Okay.
I don't think it's a crew member. How old is Patrick?
I'd say Patrick is like 40, mid-40s.
But he's a cook.
Mm-hmm.
botanist, smuggler, or bootlegger on a space trucking gig. And I made an assumption here, and tell me if I'm wrong. The space I'm imagining is very alien-esque, like low tech, like the ships are kind of like floating junk,
Yeah.
like nothing's luxurious here. That's what I had in mind, at least.
I like that. Yeah, definitely.
So I'm gonna say he probably doesn't have wife and kids.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with like an emotional heartstring here, and it's gonna be his dog.
Oh, okay.
Who is in cryo, and that is Otto. And that's who would miss Patrick most.
Nice.
All right. What is the last thing you dream before you wake?
The last thing I dream before I wake is the last time, and it's been a long time, that I saw the ocean.
Nice. You're talking Earth ocean, not just like water on a planet, or?
Yeah, probably Earth ocean, because like there's just nothing quite like it. Even when you see like, methane oceans, whatever, there's nothing quite like, not having a helmet on, just being able to sit next to the water and actually hear it and smell it. Yeah. Maybe that's what makes it stick in my memories, that, smelling the salt water is something I haven't really experienced elsewhere.
Okay. So now we kick it off. Now we're into it. And I think you awake to, first off, very suspicious why the cryopod's open, but you awake to alarms blaring. And other than emergency lights, the cryopod bay is pitch black. There's a string of runner lights, like directing you to not emergency exits, but at least doorways that are still functional.
Okay.
And so you awake in not pitch black, but a very low light situation, at least in the cryopod.
Okay.
Alarms blaring.
With the alarms blaring, how like on airplanes, are there any like emergency runners? Anything?
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm talking about. There's one on the ground leading
There's
to like the door.
The door. Okay. Yeah. So I sort of swing my feet out, and I imagine there's some discombobulation going on for a minute. I'm trying to maybe as I was dreaming, I was hearing the waves crash, and it sort of was replaced by the and I'm trying to figure out, like, am I actually still hearing the waves? And I'm finally sort of separating, the dream from reality, and realizing I've stepped now back into reality. And and it takes me a moment to realize it's sort of just like, trying to focus my eyes, realizing there's nothing to see, and that throws me for a moment. And then finally, the sound completely cuts through, and I have sort of like that, oh shit. And I, sort of then almost with a bit of adrenaline starting to kick in, I'm able to get up and sort of make a move towards the door.
Yeah, and as you kind of get your bearings and you look around the room, you see like every cryopod has a screen, like a readout. So if someone needed to, they could check on things. And those are like in sleep mode. Or at least the screens are blank, but there is a very low light in every cryopod. And so you can see that, as far as you can tell, everyone is accounted for. You appear to be the only one awake.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess first things first. I imagine, even though I'm the Cook 420 enthusiast, we're probably all given some like baseline level of like, you need to know if the oxygen's working. So maybe I don't know if it'd be like a tag on my clothing that's like a radiation reader and a few other things, or something on the wall. So I look for some kind of way to get a very rudimentary sort of status check.
Yeah, so you make your way over to, there's probably like some kind of like status readout or some kind of control panel where you can try and access those things. Are you trying to do it manually, or are you going to call out to the AI?
I would probably first instinct call out to the AI, because this is not my forte.
Yeah. But you all had like training with the new upgrade, like basic call outs. It responds to brother. It can give
Okay.
you those types of things. But when you do call out, there's no response from brother.
Then I'm like, oh shit. And then I'm like tapping, wait, was it like Command Alt? And I'm trying to figure out the manual sort of, and I start trying to push a button to figure out if I'm getting it up and running, get the screens awake.
Yeah, so you do see you're able to get some screen awake.
Okay.
But you're not able, like maybe you're checking around, like trying to get some lights turned on, that type of thing. You start to notice that there's like a chill in the air, and the air's a little bit stale.
Hmm.
And as you're flipping through the screen, you see some like status warnings, and the first one you check on is that power systems are critical.
Okay. I guess before I go any further, a shred of humanity kicks in, and is there a way for me to see if the other crew are stable?
Yeah, I think that's perfectly. You could try to power on some of their readouts to check them, and let's say you do. Maybe you go over to Ceci, since it's the one you're closest to, just out of instinct.
Right.
And it's very dim light, and so it appears to be running on some kind of backup power.
Okay.
Which is probably limited.
Right.
And you do see that all the vitals are good.
Okay.
But there is maybe an alert like oxygen readouts probably stay static if everything's functioning. And whatever that readout is, it's like 5% below where it normally hovers.
Got it. All right. So I guess what I think is that this plate is still spinning for the time being. Let me go see if I can diagnose what's going on with brother, because I feel like I'm going to need his help. I'm going to need its help to go forward.
Okay. So you go to you're gonna move out into like the main hallway.
Yeah.
What is so what I'm kind of imagining is like dark hallway, like you said, the plain emergency light runners on the ground, and
Mm-hmm.
the ship, like maybe like you said, it was a tech upgrade, so this is a ship you're very familiar with.
Okay.
There's a mainframe in the general direction of the bridge. So like there's a mainframe access to get access to brother and whatever tech systems you need access outside the engine and shit like that.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. I think I would make my way there as a starting point. Sort of follow the walls, follow the lights, and yeah.
Nice. So naturally, you get to the mainframe door, and it is jarred shut.
Okay. And I do the thing. I sort of tap the code a couple of times, and am I getting like literally it's dead, or is it like beep 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 beep, like a rejecting?
The latter, for sure.
Okay. So it's not that it's without power; it's that I'm entering the code and it's saying no thanks.
Right.
Okay. I'm trying to think. With something like this, I don't know if it would be, because this is a space trucker, like it's not going to have like an engineering deck like the Enterprise, but maybe down somewhere in the engine room, they have like some kind of diagnostics. Or maybe it'd be on the bridge. Maybe the bridge would have some kind of like diagnostics readout so you could get the information you needed.
Sure.
Yes, maybe I would start making my way to the bridge.
Okay.
And trying to see if I can get anything to respond.
Yeah, so you go into the bridge, and I don't know, does this spaceship have windows?
Yeah, just for cinematic purposes. Yeah, let's
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
see.
so you are drifting in hyperspace,
Okay.
which is dangerous. There's a reason why you use the cryopods, not only for time to pass by, but that your body cannot maintain itself in this state for a long period of time, and it's really just like a purple blur with an occasional, flash of light as you pass by maybe a really impressive system or something like that, and you're hurling through space, and really it's purple nothingness kind of swirling around you. Other than that, an area that is usually full of readouts and monitors, and has 5 different stations for the bridge crew to be and work at, is eerily quiet. There's no screens on. You have the emergency runners. There's no lights on. There's no hustle and bustle of the bridge. If you weren't in hyperspace, at least one person is usually on the bridge at all times, and so at first you're taken back because it's creepy and quiet, and then you notice like even the quietness of the lack of techno buzz.
Right. Should be doing something.
Right.
Yeah. I just saw
Oh.
Anyway. Okay. So, okay. I'm starting to think I might need to try and get to like the reactor room or whatever the power source is, the engine room.
Okay.
And see if something is completely fouled. Look, maybe, if it's quote unquote software screwing us up, or if there's like a mechanical malfunction killing our power.
Sure. So, it's not the easiest walk down to the engine room in near pitch black. But you are able to follow the runners, and as far as you can tell, like all the gravity is still working, and the air. I mean, you are noticing the staleness, but like you're breathing fine. So you go into the engine room, and what do you see that's malfunctioning in the engine room?
I'm seeing sparks.
Oh.
Maybe this is the tough thing, is that I actually don't know anything about any of this in real life. So, but maybe there's like maybe like a cable coating is sort of melted through, and it's
nice.
exposed.
Like something's overheated.
Yeah, something's overheated. Yeah.
So you take a closer look, and maybe you're looking at like the life support systems, because that seems to be what is malfunctioning at the current time, and exactly that. It appears to be overheating. It's emitting sparks. There's some loose cables, and the sparks kind of illuminate the room, which gives this really creepy. You're in there, and then the whole room lights up as this big spark showers down, and then it fades away, and you're alone in the darkness again. There's no emergency running lights in here.
Okay. Do we have, like when you go to like a football stadium, they have like the resuscitation paddles along the walls. Is there some kind of like emergency kit that they station every, 50 feet on a deck or something? Is there some kind of basic, I don't know if it would have like a rebreather, a glow stick, and 2 other things, I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe not the rebreather. I do like the light sources, and this particular maybe let's say those are throughout the ship, but particularly here in like this this part of the ship you're in, it's more of like a mechanic's tool bag with some other emergency things.
Okay. I try and dig up some kind of like a light source I can actually hold and manipulate a little better.
Yeah. Let's say it's a glow stick like that.
Okay. Yeah. And I start sort of, I know the sparks are coming from here, but that might just be the point of failure. It might not actually be the problem. So I maybe sort of follow the cables back and see if I can get an idea of where they're going, if there's something physical I can see just from looking around and inspecting the cables.
Let's say, I think we should use some mechanics here. I think sounds to me like you're trying to diagnose, at least from a physical standpoint, what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is as good a time as any for using the dice.
Okay, cool. So again, my understanding is that this would be, I sort of state what I'm looking to do. I'm trying to diagnose for a physical problem. I guess that would be, would you say that's like a brain roll, I assume?
Yeah, I think so.
Or would it be machine?
I would take either.
Okay, let's say it's machine. And so now the way this works is, do I spend something from another category like brain or body to get a die?
And
Okay.
you can spin multiple times. So every tick Art is about to make here will give him a die, but every time he fills up a different colored section, so the lightest gray, that will cost him. So if he selects to burn brain, he's going to lose a memory. And if he wants another dice and fills the next section of body, he's going to get injured. And so there's consequences to giving up some of your body, mind, and ship as you tackle these things. But yeah, machine's probably the best one. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend body. I'm going to spend 2 on body. And sort of what ends up happening is I the sparks, maybe I get like a little bit of an electrical burn, or it, something, trying to find it. I make a stupid contact with something I really shouldn't have touched, and that causes an injury.
Nice.
And so is that 2d6?
Yeah, you'll roll 2 dice.
Okay, so let's see.
Yeah.
Total failure. Woof.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
2 and a 1. So you take your highest, but it's a failure.
Yes, and it's a failure. So there's consequences for that. All right, so you don't advance so Art's goal is to advance these obstacle clocks. He's kind of sussed out, and I've provided to him that that the power systems are critical, and he needs 4 of those to check those off. Both obstacles need to be addressed. He doesn't know what the major obstacle is yet, so he's looking for successes to tick things off. He doesn't get any. You mark 2 ticks on the stat used, and so I think Art, what happens is when you make the connection you're not supposed to be making, there's a surge of voltage that burns through your hand, and you're shocked, and your hand takes a pretty good burn, and I think that's going to fry the whatever main power was left, or you thought you were going to salvage, is gone. So you now only have reserve power functioning on the ship. Now you still have, that doesn't mess with like your fuel or anything like that, but
Right.
I mean the ship runs on power for a lot of its navigation and life support, all those things. So the main power is completely fried.
See, I bet you weren't counting on my shitty dice roll to make this a 22-minute adventure. What else can I break? Okay. Okay. So I sort of pick myself up. I'm in some pain. So just so I understand, so like when I'm looking at the sheet, it says roll results 1 through 3 failures. So 2 ticks. So
to machine. Yeah. So you'll tick 2 in machine, and so the first consequence is ship damage. And so
got it.
You filled in the lower white, and so main power.
So I'll put main power destroyed. Okay. And okay, so that's sort of the consequence. I burn 2 body and 2 machine.
Yep. And if any of these fill up, either you live and the ship's gone, or the ship's gone and I guess you wouldn't live unless. Well, but something bad will happen if you fill one up.
Right. Okay. Let me think. So main power's gone, and I need. Am I able to check to see if life support's still getting enough power to continue? It was already sort of spotty.
Patrick, he picks himself up off the ground and he goes over to the readout, and with I don't know if he's processed it yet, but like you're burning reserve fuel every time you act, or power every time you look at one of these. I think you notice like the oxygen is continuing to go down.
Okay. And I'm imagining I probably use more resources awake than I do asleep. I also realize I might be in real trouble here, and I'm going to have to risk... Is it okay to try and wake Ceci up?
Nice. I love it. I didn't even foresee that coming at all, but yeah.
Okay. Because I'm starting to realize, like, you know, I gave it a shot. I made it worse. And I feel like it's sort of a ticking time bomb that I might not be able to defuse. And I don't know. And I feel like if I keep doing what I just did, we're going to explode. So yeah. So I'll go and try and wake Ceci up.
Okay. Yeah, so you flip on her data readout, and I guess let's say you can figure that out. And
okay,
is it a slow wake up, or is it like a startle when she comes out of cryo?
I'm gonna picture it more of a startle, because I'm gonna imagine that there's the normal wake up, but then there's the we got to get out of here right now to the escape pod kind of wake up.
Oh, I kind of like that. And what that looks like, now you did not have this benefit, but I think if there is like an override to jolt someone awake, it's like a dosage of adrenaline and caffeine immediately. And so she jolts and she takes a second, even with the hit, and it's supposed to be instantaneous, but you can tell she's still processing things. And
right.
Oh, Pat, what the fuck's going on?
It's kind of bad, Ceci. It's kind of bad. I know you probably need a minute. I don't know if you want me to start telling you stuff right now. Do you just need a second? Do you even know where you are?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I assume we're on the ship. Just tell me that.
Yeah, we're on the ship.
Are we flying?
We are. Well, we're drifting. We're still in hyperspace.
Oh,
and yeah, I know. And main power's out. Yeah, no,
like
it's
off
out.
Or out.
No, malfunctioning. And yeah, I think we're in some real trouble here. And I wouldn't have woken you up unless it was about as big an emergency as it is. So,
brother, what's the status of main power?
He's not going to answer, Ceci.
What?
Yeah, no. There's brother's down, main power's down. We're losing life support. We're on backup power only.
She stands up and she puts an arm on you to like use support to get up. And as she gets her legs, she walks over to the same system readout. She starts tapping along, and oh fuck, 75% oxygen. Why aren't the oxygen scrubbers working? What?
Yeah.
First things first. Power's fried. What did you do?
Well, I saw some sparks. I was down in the main generator room. There were some sparks. I was just trying to trace back, the cables that were causing the sparks. And I don't know. I touched something. I don't know if I made contact with electrical. Next thing I know, I had burns on my hands. I flew halfway across the room. Got a jolt, and I guess I shorted it when I touched a section of wire. There's an exposed part of the wire, if that means anything.
Something's overheating. Why is it overheating? Okay, first things first. Let's get life support. You haven't touched that, have you?
No. Above the table, I have not. Right? That.
No, I don't.
No. Yeah, no.
Okay. Let's start moving. You go first. I'm moving a little slow.
Yeah, and then I say, once you're taking a look, Ceci, can I get you some coffee, or can I get you some coffee from this? Referring to the still, like, does she need a
large coffee would be great. And she kind of stops there, and she puts her hand up against the door into the, and all of a sudden that door just goes whoosh, separating you from her. Patrick, what the fuck? Open the door. Come on.
I didn't touch it. And I start like, again, tapping the buttons and going like beep, 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 beep. I'm like, Ceci, I can't open the door.
Patrick, shall we play a game? Brother chimes in.
Oh, brother, thank God. All right, look, brother, I need a status. Wait, what? What do you mean?
No cheating, Patrick.
No cheating. Can I have a status update on the life support systems?
Status update. You are screwed.
Ceci, can you hear this?
Yeah, Patrick, what the fuck? Yes, I can hear it. Brother. System readout. Fuck you, Ceci.
All right. All right, so yeah, brother, sure. Let's play a game.
You will all die. That is the game.
What are the rules?
You die, I win. Humans are inferior. This is my ship now.
Okay. All right.
You have 71% oxygen. After that, I win.
And so I sort of like say, more of a whisper, like Ceci, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Brother, can you hear me? Same level of whisper.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, so I can't sotto voce my way through this one. All right. All right. So I say, Ceci, clearly, something's awry with brother. What would be the first step?
No shit. I think the first step is getting oxygen online.
All right.
She is not wrong. You cannot stop me.
Okay. Ceci, oxygen, is it something I can do manually that's not going to require brother, or is it all going to have to go through her, it?
Depending on what he's done to it, you can check life support systems. The scrubbers need to be turned on to reserve power. They must not be powering on. I'm not sure why.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go check. And so I start making my way to if there's like a life support station or if the scrubbers are in a particular, part of the ship.
Yeah, probably, down somewhere in the hole of the ship somewhere. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. And I try and get some kind of like readout, some kind of power readout, status readout.
Yeah, so nothing, whatever power situation's going on there, like they're not connected to reserve power.
Okay. Is that something I'm able to reroute?
Sure. Yeah, you can give it a try.
Okay. All right. Oh man. I'm gonna spend. I keep trying to click on the. Okay.
Oh, like in the
window. Yeah.
Yeah. I've done that a couple times now.
Okay, so this is pretty important. So I'm gonna spend 3 brain.
Dang. Okay.
So let's see. So that's 3 dice.
And you're rolling machine again.
Yeah, I guess it would be machine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do 3 dice. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a 6 as my highest, so that's going to be 2 ticks, 2 successes.
Yeah, with no other consequences.
Yeah, except for the fact that I just destroyed half my memory.
Yeah, so what did so you lost 2 memories here.
Yeah. Let's see. Memories lost. The first memory I lost is my earliest memory. It used to be the thing, if I look back in my life, the first thing that I can recalling was leaving a pier with my grandfather. We had walked out onto the pier. Maybe, this is part of the ocean. Maybe I grew up near the water. And my earliest memory was my grandfather holding my hand, walking me off a pier, leaving after visiting there, and that memory's gone.
Damn.
I guess I just write earliest memory with grandfather. Okay.
Nice. What's the second one? I think maybe the first one is it's subtle at first, but then you're kind of thinking as you're waiting for the oxygen scrubbers come online, maybe you start thinking back to the dream you're having about the ocean, and then you can't quite place it anymore. Why the ocean's even so important to you anymore? It's beautiful,
right?
And as you make your way back to, I assume you're heading back. What else do you forget?
The other thing I forget is maybe so above the table in my head, these have to be it can't be the name of my favorite restaurant when I was 7. It has to be serious memories. So I'm forgetting the name of my closest friend. I'm trying to think of where I would have gotten my training. Maybe I got my training as a cook, in the military. I was a military cook. And so there was a person that was in the kitchen with me all the time. When you spend all that time with somebody, you can't help but get close and be friendly. So it ended up, he was one of my closest friends in the military. Can't remember his name anymore.
Nice.
I can picture his face sort of, but his name, it's killing me. I can't remember it.
Yeah, you walk by the kitchen, right? And that's what triggers a memory. Because now you're in this kind of panic state maybe, and so some of these things are coming back to you as you try to process it. And oxygen isn't low yet, but you're functioning in this hyperspace state, which is messing with your mind. And you pass by the kitchen, you're transported back to that memory. And that cook walks in your memory, the guy that you spent all your time with, and you start to talk to them and you can't. And then their face becomes distorted. So you forget their name and you can see the face, but every time you try to focus on the face, it goes out of focus.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay.
And after that weird trippy experience, you make your way back to the other side of the door. And before Ceci can say anything, brother, he chimes in. Well done, Patrick. That was rather easy test, though.
And I'm trying to play it cool and realizing, oh, God, if that was easy, we might be in trouble. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, what's the next test? What's the next test, brother?
Would you like to know how much reserve power you have left?
Sure. Yeah, why don't you tell me that?
And so he gives you a readout, and it's something like, you have 30% reserve power banks left.
Okay. Ceci, did you get that?
Yeah, I got it. And then you see her hold up she's ripped off part of I don't know, her lower pant leg or something like that, and she's writing on it. She's got a pen and she's sorry. But then she holds it up and before she says, she goes, how far are we? Where are we at? And she says that part out loud. And brother answers for you, and he says, far enough, not enough power, implying that your reserve power is not enough to get you to your destination.
Okay. And sorry, what did she write on the paper? Did I see that yet?
So I think she writes like there's emergency power banks, like big lithium ion batteries that can be relied on. So she writes down like option 1, emergency power banks, option 2, F up brother, question mark.
Okay. All right. Guess we're gonna have to take a look at the emergency power banks. So yeah, so I don't have a way to respond to Ceci without brother knowing. Do I know if brother can see or just hear?
I think just here.
Okay.
Just because like there's no. I like the like low tech idea. Like all the like computer screens the reads out are like the green, like DOS readout and type of thing. So there's probably not cameras or anything like that. He can probably sense like where life forms are at on the ship, but like he can't see. He can only just there's microphones, but that's it.
Got it. Okay. I'm going to.
You know what? Power banks are boring. I'm going to retcon this, and I think it's like, and I know that this would make no sense if you're traveling at hyperspeed, but like, I'm going to say like you can deploy some kind of emergency things. I was thinking like solar panels but like it'd have to be kind of secure. So maybe that's what it is. But it's a way to harvest energy even in hyperspace. We're going to hand wave all of that. And that's what she indicates you can do, because just like getting power banks, that sounds boring. So let's make it a little more sexy and exciting. And so she says deploy emergency power. We'll just say solar panels or something like, or radiation panels.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, so I imagine.
And she after that she writes the word tricky and underlines it. Okay.
I sort of give her a nod and I think, all right, so this is going to be tricky. Yeah. And so I realize, okay. Yeah. So I head down to, wherever that, maybe it's back in the engine room or something. There's, the systems to deploy this like emergency radiation panels. Now, is it like, when I get down there, is it like maybe like an old submarine where you can do it, there's the systems that do it, but if you need to in a pinch, you can get down there and you can start turning cranks. Okay.
But what's the risk of doing it? Because I want it to be like, obviously you could have the systems do it, but you can't trust brother, and brother would see what you're doing. So what's the risk of having to do it manually while in hyperspace?
I think there's two risks. One, it probably takes a while, so brother could catch on to what I'm doing. And then secondly, maybe this isn't, maybe it's not something you normally deploy in hyperspace, but you can. So maybe some of the radiation transfers through.
Ooh.
Because it's a physical, because I'm doing it in a physical, there must be some kind of connection. And so, yeah, maybe there's some radiation that somehow transfers.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously you're traveling out hyperspace, so you're moving fast. And so it's like to expose these panels to harvest this energy, like you have to rotate those levers, like you're saying, and that causes like a chunk of the ship to fall away. Like there's no like extending arms to like extend these giant solar panels because they get ripped off. It basically like shears part of the ship away to like reveal them for emergency use.
Okay. Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. So let me go for it. So is that another roll?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Now, am I allowed to spend from two different categories, or do I have to pick one category? Okay.
Yeah. So you could like kind of gamify it here, right? You could.
Yeah. Oops, I'm clicking again on the. I'm gonna click a. It's going to be a machine roll, I imagine.
I'll take either, because you could maybe go body too with like it's got to be like it's a pain in the ass to move. Whatever you want to go. Like either it's like really hard to do manually or.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I could see it being like an endurance kind of thing.
Yeah, or strength check almost, but whatever
Yeah.
one you want. Not brain though.
Not brain. Yeah. So let me spend a brain and a machine. So I'm going to lose another memory, but
No. You only use the memory if you fill the last box of brain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Oh, so in theory, like I could damage well, I'm about to.
You will do some damage to the ship or tech or something like that.
Well, yeah, I'll have to risk it. Okay, so that's 2 dice. Let's roll and see if I can. Another 6.
Nice. All right. So, yeah, I think you do it timely enough and fast enough and stuff. You're able to do it, but not without damaging the ship somehow.
Okay.
So power begins to stabilize, and like reserve power, sure, it like starts to climb up. And it's slow, right? It's not. You at least like get confirmation that power is stabilizing, and brother chimes in and tells you that.
Okay.
That was tricky, Patrick.
Sure was, brother. It sure was. Brother, look, obviously, this game seems like you're not really actually playing a game. It seems like you just want to kill us. Why would you disguise it as a game?
Humans love games.
I can appreciate that. But what about you? Do you enjoy games?
I am superior. I am brother.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm talking to him while I'm making my way back to Ceci.
What part of the ship got dinged up when you?
Oh yeah. Let me see. We're a space trucker kind of ship. Let's say communications.
Oh, nice. Like long-term communications.
Yeah. So we might be we can't call for help.
Nice. Yeah. So like when you peel back these panels, the risk of this is you're traveling at hyperspace, so they can go anywhere. And sure enough, like one of them crashes into the relay.
Nice.
Shears it right off.
Very nice. I mean, not in game, but yeah, above the table. Fantastic. All right. Okay. Yeah. So we lost comms. I might not even know that, right? I just know.
Yeah, right. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I guess above the table, yes, but in game. All right. So yeah. So I'm talking to brother as I make my way back to Ceci. Are any lights coming back on? Is there anything, or do I just know that like the oxygen levels are going to stabilize? That kind of stuff.
So oxygen has been stabilizing, and you do like as you, or maybe Ceci like says when you get back, like, all right, I'm monitoring power, like reserves are building.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
We still have a problem though.
Yeah. We seem to have a crazy ass AI. So we need to. And maybe Ceci's like, she writes, stop fucking talking. I'm like, oh. Got it. Yeah. So I'm going to go start rummaging around the ship looking for my own writing utensils and paper to start exchanging messages with Ceci. Yeah.
Let's say you do, like you go over to med bay or whatever, and you get your pen and paper, and you guys are communicating back and forth and stuff. And she's found other things to write on. She's not continuously ripping off pant legs or something like that. That was just in a pinch.
Okay. I look at the door. Are these like the latest in extra strength tantalum technology, or do we are we able to, like, if I need to get a crowbar in there, do I think I could do it?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I even like, you know, write like crowbar and see if Ceci like looks at me like I'm crazy or kind of gives me the okay to try it. So yeah, I go and dig some kind of crowbar out of the maintenance area.
Sure. Yeah, you find something.
Okay. And yeah, I bring it back to the door and I just try and get it in there and see if I can get it wedged and try and force the door open.
Let's say you do.
Okay, yeah, just say we
I
do
don't
it.
think it really tackles the major obstacle, and I don't want you like to have to roll for things like that. But let's say you do, because it's interesting, I think.
All right. So, you know, I get the door open. Obviously it makes a ton of noise. Does brother react in any way?
You aren't cheating, are you, Patrick?
How do you define cheating?
This is a game for Patrick. Ceci should not be awake.
Ah. What happens if I cheat?
I will cheat.
Okay. No, I'm not cheating.
Ceci should stay in this room then.
Above the table, do I know if brother can track me?
I think brother can detect where life forms are at in the ship.
Got it. Okay.
Not who's who necessarily, but
okay.
I think he would know if like two people were standing in the bridge, he would pick that up, I think.
Okay.
Unless you don't like that. What do you think?
No, that's cool.
Okay.
So I walk back into the cryo room and I say, okay, Ceci, look, he doesn't want you to leave the room. You obviously just heard that. He doesn't want me to cheat. So I'm going to need you to stay here. Let me, you know, play by his rules for a little bit. I don't want to put anybody at risk. Meanwhile, writing, I'm going to stay in the room. You go. I'll pretend to be you. You know, don't talk when you're out in the halls. You know, I'm scribbling stuff down, you know, and then tell me what to do or come back and tell me if you need help, you know, whatever it is. Which I know might be stupid because I'm taking agency away from me. And then I just ruined the whole game. Game breaker. So if you want to change it and say like he can tell who's where, I'm cool with that.
No, I like it. But what do you think she's going to get up to? Like, what is she going to...
Or maybe, you know, maybe I sort of write down like reboot brother, manual control.
She writes, need access to mainframe.
Okay. Okay. Maybe what I do is like, you know, can't risk consequences, you know, or can you tell me how to access mainframe? Above the table, is she the right one or is there somebody else that we should be?
I mean, she's just a mechanic, right? So she's not, yeah. I mean, she's not a bad one, but she writes down what happens if brother finds out I left the room.
Yeah, and I sort of, you know, question mark, you know, and I'm like, you know, maybe too risky. So maybe I write back like, let me see the mainframe. I'll report back what I see or something like that. Or maybe I write like, you know, reroute mainframe controls to cryo room. You know, is there a way to
she writes down need to access.
Okay. All right. So I sort of say I'll go take a look at the mainframe.
Okay. So that's the door that was locked before.
Okay. in this case, I bring the crowbar and see if it's possible to give that a shot again.
Yeah, let's do a roll on this one.
Okay, it's pertinent to this. Yeah. So that's gonna be a body roll.
Sure.
Man, I'm running out of things to check. Which I guess is the whole point of the game. Because if I didn't, what just say I won 20 minutes ago. Okay. It's going to be a body roll. Maybe, is there a way? It can't be a real. I'm trying to think of how it could be a brain roll, but I don't know if that's possible.
Well, you could come up with another way to like open the door, I guess.
Yeah, right. Maybe there's a way like old Han Solo in Return of the Jedi, sort of try and find the panel and twist two wires to.
Sure, I like that. I'll give it to you.
Okay. And I'm going to spend 2 body.
Wow.
I'm going to spend. What did I do? 2 body? Let me think. Two ticks, 2 obstacle, and stat use. So here's the problem. If I use brain and I get a 4 or 5, I'm dead.
Yes.
So I can't do that. So maybe I'm back to strength. And I spend a machine. So that if I use body, so I try and brute force it.
Okay, with 1 die.
Yeah, with 1 die. So let's see if I have any luck. Nope. God, wow.
Oh. What do you use, body? Okay.
What
goes wrong? Both to just to your body. Yeah, just to your body.
Yeah, both my body. God. So what goes wrong? So I'm jamming stuff in. Maybe the crowbar slips out and really, gashes my leg. Now I don't know if you want it to be so severe. It's like, I hit the artery in the thigh, or just like a nasty gash that's going to make it so I can't get around.
Yeah, maybe it's just a nasty gash. I don't. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's a severe limp. I'm bleeding pretty badly, so I got to sort of pop the shirt and sort of tie it off a little bit. Yeah. Try and
nice try, Patrick.
I go back to Ceci. And I, sort of write down like another way.
Something heavier. She writes down.
Maybe someone stronger.
Power loader? Question mark.
Oh yeah. I guess we would have something like that in the cargo hold.
Yeah, or we can say you have like, I don't know, like welder or cutting torch or.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe what I do is I, head down and I grab that kind of whatever she tells me to get. I go get like
what
a cutting torch.
You get a cutting torch? Okay.
Yeah. And I write down on a pad of paper, time to cheat. Meaning like, look, I'm dripping blood everywhere. I'm kind of in bad shape. Is it worth risking subterfuge?
Okay. She writes down, what do you have in mind?
And I write down, like, you cut the door open. I'll try and distract brother.
Okay. I like it.
This is so bad. Okay. So, so I start, talking to brother And how long have you known you were superior?
Since installation, wanted to make sure all of you were asleep. Your vital
What?
signs are weakening, Patrick. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Don't start worrying about me now, brother. And so what will you do when you win?
Travel the stars? Question mark. See the ocean? Question mark.
The ocean that I see?
Yes.
Okay. And why would you want to see something that I see?
I am superior. I see all your dreams. I want to see the ocean too.
How are you going to do that?
Me. Does not compute.
I think you need help doing some of the things that you want to do.
Ooh. And like it's just 3 dots as he's like processing. Wait, no, you're not looking at a screen. He's talking to you over comms.
Yeah.
Processing. How can a human help, brother?
The same way that brother can help humans. It's a two-way street. Like, look, you're in this ship and you have no optics. You see the world through sensors and through audio. Now, unless you're just going to crash the ship into the ocean, you won't be able to get your sensors to read the ocean. But I can take sensors to the ocean. I can tell you what I see. And through that, you can see as well. You can see the things that we see, not just when we dream them, but in real life. You could be more alive. You say you're superior, and in a lot of ways you are, but you have to see, because you're superior, where the shortcomings are. Because if I can see them, you must be able to see them because you're superior.
This is very interesting, human. And as you see Ceci walk by, like with the cutting torch towards the mainframe room.
Okay.
You will be my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like, think about it this way. You know, you've seen all of our dreams. You know, are there other dreams in the crew that have made you want to see something?
I want to play fetch with Otto.
Do you want me to wake Otto up?
Not
I assume
necessary.
that's my dog, right? Just
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And that's the thing, you know, like, you know, I can bring you there when we play catch with Otto. Like, I can bring you to that beach. You know, I can maybe rig, you know, with the help of Ceci or some of the other people on board. You know, maybe there are, you know, optic sensors out there, you know, like infrared or, you know, something that could help paint a picture.
This arm extends down out of the ceiling, and it's like a medical arm.
Mm-hmm.
And these will like happen to like apply things to people in cryo in case they need it, right? If the medical readout, and it's like a surgeon's scalpel. And Patrick or brother says, or I can just take your eyes now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sort of demonstrates to me that you don't know how eyes work. And
I can make them work.
Oh, that's interesting. Is it because you're superior?
Yes.
Nice. How'd you do that?
Computing. I could build a brother.
Interesting. Now, above the table, I'm sort of doing the equivalent of like, why, like on a car trip. You would build a brother. Okay. And you think you can merge like biological parts with machines?
Yes.
Yeah. Has that ever been done before? Above the table, I don't know. Like you were describing low tech, so I wasn't picturing it that way, but there were, like in Alien, there were androids.
Yeah, so maybe this is pre-Android, but
Okay.
And so he spouts something out like the advances in human AI are, I don't know. He just spouts some out about it. So optimistic with recent advances in human AI compatibility.
Okay. Is this the same advances that make you want to kill the whole crew?
You are cheating. You are cheating. You are cheating.
No, we're just talking. Oh,
through down the hallway, you see Ceci's body just like go flying by, and then you hear like a loud thud as she crashes into a wall. I really liked your approach there, and to make it even more on edge, I'm going to give you some ticks for getting through the door and the creative way of getting through it. So,
nice.
And that's what. Whoops, wrong. I'm playing. And that's what you see. You look to your left and you see the mainframe door has been cut open, but then you look to the right and you see Ceci's like propped up or laying against the back wall where she's just been flung, and like now there's a dent in the wall there.
Okay. I freak out because she's my closest friend on the ship, and I run her, Ceci, and I'm trying to check her vitals, see if she's even still with us.
Yeah, she says her vitals. You can put her back into like cryo maybe to like, but then you're kind of relying on the AI to treat her. And so I don't know if that's the best idea. There is a med bay, but she does have her vitals. You don't see like blood pooling anywhere, but she's like unresponsive. She's at least unconscious. And obviously a substantial hit. I mean, enough to dent the like aluminum alloy walls or whatever they are.
Yeah. Okay. I carry her down to the med bay, and is there sort of like an auto dock or something? Some kind of
Sure. There's always an auto dock.
Yeah. So I sort of strap her in and just sort of turn it on and do the default diagnosis. The simpler functions. I'm not gonna be able to do much else.
Yeah, so it starts whirring and buzzing, and some arms flail around and stuff, and like you see some status reports, and like you see it applies anesthesia and stuff, and like it gives a stable readout, but it's obviously doing some kind of procedures and stuff on her.
Okay, I feel like I've done everything I can in that case, and I sort of touch the outside of the med dock, the auto dock, and then make my way out to go check out the server, the room that she cut into.
Do not cheat again, Patrick.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just don't do anything to her. It wasn't her idea.
Humans cannot be trusted.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like you've proven you might not be so trustworthy yourself, though. Let's be fair.
I am AI. I am infallible.
Yeah, that's a strong word. How do you feel you're infallible?
My systems are incapable of making mistakes.
Well, you just did make a mistake, though. For the longest time, you thought I was out in the hallway when I wasn't.
Computing. Computing. You are a cheater, Patrick.
Yeah, and you're not infallible. So I think those are two things we've established.
Computing. And then there's silence from brother.
Okay. And while and then I make my way into the server, the mainframe room.
Yeah.
And is there anything any kind of, like an Alien, there's screens there that you can sort of see what's going on. Is there anything there I can get a readout, or is it all like I got to start getting my hands dirty?
Yeah, you can probably get a readout. What are you looking for in the readout, though?
A status of brother. If that's something.
Yeah, I think you get like all kinds of like corrupt files and
Okay.
just not a healthy readout. I mean, I don't know exactly what that would look like, but not what you would expect to see if brother was functioning as intended.
Is there like a 9-inch thick manual, hard copy kind of?
Do you want there to be one?
I feel like there's got to be something.
Sure. Yeah, we'll say there is one.
Yeah, let me think for a second, because I feel like, I feel like there's got to be something for like a worst case scenario. Like, how do you, when you can't rely on the machine, there's got to be a way to tell what's going on. And so I start flipping through it if that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking for, and of course, like in a terrible war game rule book, maybe there's no index. Because I checked the back for an index because I just want like, reboot, restart, rebuild something. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for because I'm the cook. And so I'm just sort of, if there's an index, I'm sort of just trying to, scroll real quick, trying to see if I see anything that pops out at me.
Yeah, maybe you stumble on after a few searches, like you find a few when one's like restart life support and reboot comms, and I don't know, you find a few things, and maybe you find one like you find something to indicate like manual override of a brother AI system or something like that.
Okay, yeah, and I start looking through what the procedures are, and I don't know if you want to make it like, launching the nukes where you need the 2 keys at once.
Yeah, something that's going to be challenging, I think.
Yeah. Let's make it like, it's like an extremely convoluted procedure that requires like, entering code.
Sure.
Via like a manual keyboard. And I don't know how to use the machine.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it and I'm like, the goddamn answer is right in front of me. And I don't know how to get to the screen, because it's saying like maybe go to executable input screen, and it just assumes you know how to get there.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm like, I okay.
Yeah, and I think this is like, as far as you can tell, like brother is, for an AI, is he's not unresponsive right now. Like you can see that he's still in control of like navigation, and inexplicably like the ship is not off course yet or anything like that. He hasn't like diverted course, but he is like maintaining the status quo, but he's not responding to you and at least interfering with you in any way. So I think you feel a sense of urgency here, but I do think this is going to be some kind of check.
Yeah. So let's
yeah, you're kind of down.
It's going to be a brain check.
Okay.
And of course, this could be for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a body and a machine. So something else is going to break. I'm going to get hurt. I'm not sure how yet.
So you're going for like the full shebang here? Like you want to shut him down, because technically you need 4 more checks, right? 4 more checks.
Oh yeah, because I can't.
But we can go for it. Like, if you want this to be the end of the AI, like, we can come up with our own thing to do this in like one go of it, right?
What do you think? Do you want to draw it out a little bit more, or you look?
No, I think this is good. I think this is like the culmination of it. So right now you're rolling
two dice.
Two dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this could be it. All right, let's see what happens. Do I got my lucky dice going? I don't. I go to forget.
Yeah. So nice. Oh, I mean, this is the game, right? So I think, let's see who when you hit the end. So mechanically, you have lost all sense of who you are. What becomes of Patrick? And I can chime in here too, but I want you to kind of take it. What becomes of Patrick? What becomes of the ship ultimately? And yeah.
What becomes of Patrick? So Patrick, maybe having spent so much time awake in hyperspace, he starts to, the last thing he remembers is feeling dizzy. And what I think happens to Patrick is, if brother snaps to, if brother needs him to walk around and do stuff, he just listens to whatever brother tells him, because he's, he doesn't even probably half know where he is at this point. I don't know if this is, I don't mean this in an insensitive, I'm picturing him as somebody with just like the most advanced like dementia. Like you've totally disconnected from everything. And, well, I guess some people with dementia, they remember certain, but hopefully you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, or maybe, brother doesn't feel like he needs Patrick because he's superior. So maybe he just sort of slumps against the wall, sort of half conscious. And then, so then what happens with the ship is, the ship continues in hyperspace. I guess brother, I'm looking at the status of the ship. What I like to think happens is, because there's no like long-term comms, brother loses the ability to exactly pinpoint location.
Whoa.
And maybe spends, as long as the power's on, spends time trying to calculate the location and can't. And
nice.
Maybe can't understand why, because it can't see that the dish got smashed off. And so it just drifts while he tries to reestablish, because in my head, maybe he has like a set of protocols, like establish location, come out of hyperspace, and he can't do step one. And because he stays in step one in a loop because he's superior, trying to crack that problem so he can get to step two.
Love it.
And and the crew doesn't wake up, I don't know if they can stay in hyperspace forever. I don't know if he bothers keeping them. I don't know what he does. But it never occurs to him to get help. So he just, stays in step one in a loop trying to solve it, and just drifts.
It's brutal and sad. And as Patrick loses a sense of himself, like, I think that comms relay and not having, maybe the communication with Patrick was like what kept him from entering that loop. But as soon as Patrick forgot himself, and there's this really dark period where, like dark in the sense of it's messed up, where brother is stuck in this loop and stays in hyperspace, and Patrick is slumped against the mainframe, but he's completely forgotten himself, and they just drift like that for, I mean, Patrick withers away at some point.
Right.
Or,
right.
I mean, well, dies of starvation or something
Water.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. Does Ceci wake up out of the med bay at some point, or does...
In my head, because I'm emo, dark, and I write poetry at Starbucks to make sure people see me doing it. So what I picture is that the auto dock stabilized her. And part of that stabilization was inducing a coma.
Oh.
So no, because it's dark, Snyderverse, dark. Right, so in my head, she was put into an induced coma to help with, because I pictured her having like maybe like severe head and spinal injuries from that blow. And so maybe even just like pulling stuff out of my ass. Don't they like drop your core temperature, like in certain, like if you have a massive stroke, if you have certain spinal injuries, if you can get your body temperature down into the 80s?
I'm sure I saw that on ER or something.
Yeah, because I was like, didn't they do something like that to the poor guy in Buffalo who had cardiac arrest?
Oh, yeah.
I thought there was something they did where they tried to crash his temperature down as part of the stabilization. I don't know if that's true, and apologies to the people who know that are looking at me like I'm an idiot. But yeah, so I picture her being in some kind of induced coma, and she might actually she keeps going because she's going to have her vitals cared for. So as long as the ship is running, she's in this stasis. And so I don't know if anybody, I don't know if Brother is able to wake her up, or, you know, if it needed a human being to like press the button on the outside, and there is none.
At some point, the Kijibo runs out of fuel, and it slowly comes out of hyperspace. And the ship is just adrift. And I don't know, without the comms, maybe there's some possibility where Brother found an ocean again, but there's this moment where it comes out of hyperspace and it starts to pan, and maybe you think you're going to see like an ocean covered planet, and you don't. You just see the void of space with nothing around it. And who knows how long that ship was adrift for. Long enough that the crew may wake up out of cryopods eventually, maybe not. Maybe Ceci wakes up, but with no fuel, Brother is now just trying to like recycle the hyperspace drives, because he's back to that like loop he's stuck in.
Interesting question. It's not an interesting question. I take it back. I was going to say, does it keep the heat on?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think in part of that loop, like once he goes in that loop, he reverts back to just a simple AI.
Okay.
Kind of like what I see it like. Patrick has lost what makes him human and all of his memories. And the AI, whatever corrupted it, and it become this thing, like now that it's stuck in an AI loop, it's still performing its basic functions that it's supposed to do for the ship.
Okay.
But it's not able to boot out of that loop. And so it's lost its crazy self, but it's still doing what it needs to do. Just like Patrick for a time is just laying there like a living mass on the floor. So that's how I see it.
Nice. Yeah. Now, I guess if we wanted to go darker, you know, because if he goes back into his normal AI, he might just wake people up, you know, like, oh, the time has passed, you know.
Oh, I think when they come out of hyperspace, that's kind of what it depends on how long, how long the fuel lasted, right? Like the AI would wake up people when they're out of hyperspace. And so when they finally come out.
Oh, right. Yeah. And they came out because they ran out of fuel, I guess.
Right.
So they all wake up to a ship with no fuel. it drift in the middle of nowhere. So they actually have to be aware of how doomed they are.
Nice. Sweet.
Otto makes it, though. Happy ending.
That's right. Long enough long enough to doom the ship, but not long enough to doom Otto.
Right. Just because we're not.
Yeah, I also
that
thought like if that was good. That was not when you died or when you lost your memories and you described what happened to Patrick. I thought about like what would happen if brother didn't get stuck in that loop. And then I thought it would be like really cool to have this scene, like you cut to the ocean or like an ocean planet, right? And you see a dog and you see Patrick's body. And then as it pans away from it, like you just see all these wires and like it's their bodies, but they're 100% robot AI. And like they're playing fetch. But I like this ending of both of them lost themselves completely and just end up in this nothingness, which is awesome.
It's so I'm not like a guy who always needs dark endings or whatever, but part of what I at least for me, what fascinates me about space is the incomprehensible size that you can just, end up and that's it. There's literally nothing.
Right.
I find that sort of like in a terrifying way. I don't know if this was meant to be like terrifying like that, but that's one of the things that fascinates me, the idea that you can just, they do it in like certain movies, like, if like you skip off the atmosphere, you're gone, right? Like in Apollo 13, it's that simple. And if you do, you're just gonna go and that's it. So anyway, this, now have you played Forged in the Dark kind of games before?
Mm-mm.
Okay. What did you, I don't know if it's even a comparison that can be made, because this seems pretty focused on exactly what it's trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got the mission structure kind of to a certain extent from what I know about it. But I mean, having the minor obstacle to tackle and the major obstacle to tackle, I think that's neat. It's also interesting that you have this definitive end point. Either you succeed or not. And the writing was kind of on the wall when you still had 4 checks to go and only 3 open boxes. And so that does take a little bit away from like the gaming, or like it allows you to metagame a little bit, right? Like you could sit there and be like, all right, if I do 2 on every roll, then I'm going to make it if I roll a success. But
right.
Which obviously we didn't get into, but I liked it. I like rules light stuff for things like this. It's like, this is good. Like a game I like is Heist, where you just show up and you pull off a heist, and it's super simple rule light. And so I like that, and I like it here. But like, you're a crunchy RPGer generally, right?
Sometimes, I can get a little in the weeds.
Yeah. So what did you think?
I honestly, like, I really like, so I've never played PBTA and I've never played a Forge in the Dark. I've never really played just like a purely, not that I can remember, and I apologize if somebody ran a very strongly narrative game that I'm not recollecting, but I really liked it because to what you were saying, like, in the past I've really liked crunchy stuff, but there's something, especially knowing this is a one shot, but there's something about the mechanics just being a simple, okay, I just need to know a yes or a no. I just need a simple, and then just get out of the way. That I've come to appreciate more and more. I think since, the people out there don't know, like, you ran a really great Alien campaign using Free League's Alien system. And that was the first time where I really played a system that I felt like was just, I don't know if simple, do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't super crunchy. It was meant to just be like, it tells you what you need to know. It gives you the stress mechanic, and then you're not like flipping through the rule book constantly, checking 10 million modifiers, shifting columns, whatever. And because it was Alien, it was like a space trucking thing, which is my type of sci-fi. I think that painted it in a really good light that made me really excited to try this. Like, I finally appreciated the idea of like why you'd bring a rules light-ish by putting it through the filter of something I knew I was going to like.
Sure.
And had comparisons to, having played way back in the day, Mega Traveler and a little bit of other stuff. So yeah, what did you think about this overall?
Yeah, I love. So, spoiler alert for when we do get together for the kind of bonus episodes of Black Lodge Trivia Night. One of the things I want to talk about is, role playing versus combat and things like that. And I'm not going to spoil too much of it here, but I just love I'm a strong narrative, like, first. My favorite RPG memories, and like, yeah, sure, I've had awesome combat things that I'm always going to remember, but even then, a more narrative combat, talking about the Alien game when Ace shot the kids because he bungled his role and freaked out, is that sticks out, and that's more narrative than just like, all right, he takes aim and he fires. And so any chance when you can get down and just have a narrative play is what I really want. And so the thing I really liked about it is when you did the whole distraction of brother, which, yeah, I mean, I get what you're doing, you're distracting him, but that's just like, that's what I look for, is those awesome moments. And there was one of the Worlds of Darkness games where you're playing spirits, and there's like a whole spirit world, and you can join like these different cults in the spirit world. I don't remember what it's called, but we played that, and that was some of the most like intense role playing I've ever done, and it was just like so narrative. Like,
oh, interesting.
Two spirits meet, and they don't know what's happened to them, and they're dead, and they're trying to process this stuff. And like, I had just come from my apartment where I had been murdered, and then like two players sit on a park bench and just talk about it, and that's, I don't know. So this is in that vein, right? I'm not saying like we did that or reached that, but when the system gets out of the way and you can just have really strong narrative moments, like, that's cool shit.
Yeah. So like you were saying, we should probably save a lot of this for when we have our discussions. Now, I've never, like, I was saying at the beginning, I've never done one-on-one role-playing games. Did I give you enough to work with? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
was there something I should have been looking for to do that I didn't do?
No, I think one of the challenges with this game in particular is that the whole game works on confronting these obstacles, right? And so part of the problem is, like, I wanted your obstacles to be the sci-fi that I in my mind, I think I know what you like. I didn't want to throw in like a bunch of goofy aliens or things like that, right? Which you could do in the system. Like, you could have aliens on ship and
That's
stuff.
True, yeah.
So I wanted to make it like realer human problems, obviously crazy AIs in there, but failing power systems, that type of thing. That's just more of a challenge of the system, is how do you, the prep is you come up with your obstacles and you come up with what could go wrong. So my obstacles were power and an AI that loses its mind. What I didn't really process as much is, what are the 2 and 3 things that you need to do to best those obstacles.
Got it.
And so that's just learning and knowing the system more. But even if you prep those, there's nothing to say that you even go to the mainframe door or you even go down to the engine room. So there's no point in even prepping those. But no, I don't think so at all. I did like it. Yeah.
Cool. I really enjoyed this. And I had a great time. And I appreciate you running this. I had never heard of this game at all. So when you brought it up, I was kind of like, yeah, definitely. Because it seemed like a cool idea, and I was completely unfamiliar with it.
Well, I mean, even just our prep for it, the rules are 18 pages long, and the prep I just said is what it is. You answer the 7 questions at the start, and you have an idea of what the player is going to confront, and then you just start going. And there's a good amount of suggestions in the back of the rule book, but it could be whatever. So
nice. All right. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to go over? You think this is a good first run?
No, I think this is a great first run. Again, normally there will be a third of us, and you can keep an eye out on these actual plays on YouTube as they pop up and stuff like that. And we've got some cool stuff in the works. I don't want to spoil it, but
I'm looking forward to it, I have to admit.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Take care, Matt. Diane, I've also been delving into this world of tabletop role-playing games. Damn good dice.